Welcome to your favorite TV program, CEOs Connect. So what is the motivation behind Westmont Global Resources?
You have in your hand. That people you have in your hand. Okay.
Wow.
It will not stop us because our businesses will all...
Yeah, in all business, you need to start somewhere.
Not a success story.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fail, sometimes.
And I always tell my staff, we definitely reciprocate to that.
Welcome back to the program CEOs Connect. Welcome to another episode of CEOs Connect, the program that brings you CEOs all over the country, learn about them, and learn the secrets behind their success. I am Tunle Aladeshwi, your host. Advertising has been in existence for ages. However, the advent of technology has taken advertising to another level, in which it is now an indispensable factor in the success journey of any company or an entrepreneur. My guest in the studio today is a big fish in the advertising industry. He is the CEO of Rocktop Media, Mr. Tony Roland Awobade. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Great.
You look
great.
sharp.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, well, we're going on a short commercial break now. And when we come back, our guest in the studio will be shedding light on what advertising is about, the do's and the don'ts of the industry. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program CEOs Connect, and I have the CEO of Rocktop Media, Mr. Tony Roland Awobade. Now, let's start from the beginning, my guest, Mr. Tony.
All right.
Sir, can you give the viewers a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay, Tony Roland Awobade, but usually I'm referred to as Don T. Well, that's my radio name.
Okay.
While I spend a lot of time on radio. I was born in the north, precisely Zaria in Kaduna State. And I went to primary school and secondary school there. I went to Tebo School, Zaria, and I went to Army Command Secondary School, Zaria. I was supposed to go to the military school, NMS, but somehow.
Yeah.
My father used to live in the north, and my mother got transferred to Ibadan. So they sent me on a message to come to Ibadan.
And you fell in love?
I just fell in love, and I now did the entrance examination. Actually, I did it in the north just for the sake of it.
Okay.
So I was supposed to go to government college, but I met a few of my friends and they were already in Loyola College. So I found myself doing 6 years at Loyola College, Ibadan.
Okay.
Yes, I did the sciences. And eventually I tried to get into school like any young man. But the confusion was, should I do science? Should I do arts? I wanted to do civil engineering.
Oh.
And somehow, some way, I didn't get admission. I got admission in the ABU, but I had to leave. I came back to Ibadan. 3 years after leaving school, I eventually go into UI to study geology.
Oh.
So, am I going to be a geologist? I guess destiny didn't have it. So, as a young man, also working at the time, I had to work for the federal government. I worked in the Nigerian Railway Corporation. And trying to find my feet as, you know, a desperate young man then. And so I dropped out of school at my 300 level to travel abroad. Yeah. Why are you saying wow?
Wow.
That's a story. It's a story, but now it's a success story because at the time it was due to frustration. It was due to pressure of the society and things like that. So I came back into the country trying to find my feet, but it was a bit difficult. So I couldn't get back to school. And in that frustrating moment, I dabbled into the media. I visited a radio station, and they just kind of liked my voice. And that was
you
it.
have the radio voice.
Yes, and that was it. And that's how I started at Premier FM as a radio presenter, as a freelance DJ. And eventually, I got into the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, where I worked on television and radio. I was supposed to go to Lagos and work on AIT. Long story, but I didn't go. And when the first private radio station came into Ibadan, I became a pioneer presenter, and that's how my journey, you know, started as a radio person, you know. But I told myself, I said 10 years into the industry, into the radio broadcast industry, that I was going to go independent and do something else. So count forward 10 years, I'm already getting the fame. But I remember what I told myself, that after 10 years, I'll go independent and do something else. So I had to do it at the 11th year. Now, don't forget I dropped out of school.
Yeah, you're in the level.
So I now try to get back studies. I did professional courses in public relations. I also went to get a diploma from the Lee City University, Mass Communication and Media Technology. And I went back and I did a degree while I was still on radio. So I became... had a BSc in Mass Communication and Media Technology, including a diploma in printing and publishing. So that gave me the effrontery to try media, because I did it without effort. I was just having fun.
Yeah.
And while I had fun and I put a lot of effort and passion to my fun that I was having, I was seeing results. And people were telling me, hey, you have this result. So I put more effort into it. So basically, that's a journey and how I got into the media.
It is very impressive.
Sounds interesting, right?
Yeah, interesting and impressive. Yeah. Okay. So what motivated you basically to go into the media industry?
Okay, now, like I said, it's destiny. Okay. I don't know how a lot of people see what destiny is, but this is it. Like the pathway that I had for myself wasn't working right. And I found myself, like I said, yes, in the media industry, radio broadcast industry at first. So when I went back to school, I remember one of the courses in international advertising. I was really engrossed. And, on my own before, I used to write copies for companies that I didn't know. Wow. I can just sit down here and say, Thomasy, she's fine, she's beautiful. I used to do all these things.
Those copywriting.
Yeah, growing up. So now this is a study, and you can make this a profession. What I used to do.
Money.
I make money, what I used to play with. Okay, let me try it out.
Okay.
So that was what informed me into going into advertising. And don't forget, while I was on radio, I got to understand that we were only talking. Some people were making money out of what we did. So I looked at what was going on there. There were agencies. So I like to know about these agencies, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's how I started. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I am particularly interested to know what Rock Tough means.
Okay, Rock Tough. Many years ago, while I was still working and schooling, I used to write a lot of stuff. I used to write a lot, ideas. So I said, I'm going to start a company. The company will have these, will have that, will have this media outfit, will have a studio. And I said, let me give it a name. So I looked and I said, okay, let me use my sister's name.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's an acronym for my family.
Okay.
Ronnie, R, Claire, my late sister, K, Kumbi. Then TOF, Tony, and Frida. So Rock Tough. And I thought, okay, rock, as solid as a rock. And I read geology. Yeah. So it's about rocks and formations. I thought, okay, rock. Tough. Okay, Rock Tough. Let's rock it now.
Yeah.
That's what informed
Okay. Well, we know, as you know, advertising the industry is very competitive.
Very.
And most people don't really recognize what advertising is all about sometimes.
You're making a big mistake. You better recognize.
Okay, yeah. At least that's for the viewers to know.
Yeah.
So in spite of all these challenges, how have you been able to stay afloat in the business?
Oh, you have to be consistent. It's not easy at all. No industry is easy. So advertising has its own peculiarities. It's like a close-knitted industry. I didn't know that before. So when I started to approach mentors, because this is very important, you must have mentors. There's no way. I've had a lot of people say they don't need mentors, they can do it on their own. No, you need mentors. So I approached a few mentors, and this particular mentor was as if she was discouraging me. Kilo fellow, she in advertising, stay in your broadcasting. I said, no.
I want to go.
I want to go into advertising. And she said, okay. And whenever she talks about the difficulty, she'll end up with one statement. You see, and there's money in advertising, money. Okay.
That's the key thing.
Yes. And since I I had my BSc at Lee City University, they encouraged every graduate to be enterprising. So they say, congratulations, enterprising graduate. Means that you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. So I knew I've just beaten the entrepreneurship bug. So I have to be an entrepreneur. So I turned into a business. I said, okay, look, ma, I'm going to do it. She said, okay, well, go ahead. And I went ahead. I suffered small. But of course, with every business, you have challenges. Yeah. I learned a lot from the principles of business, from the principles even in advertising, because there are a lot of principles that you must follow. So I did a lot of that, and eventually in a short time, there were results. I got the company registered. I got registered with the Oyo State government to practice. You know, I also worked for a lot of agencies, a lot of blue chip companies that I did first, shall I say, media placement for radio. Then now I did outdoor. You know, I started to do outdoor advertising. I became certified by APCON. That's the Advertisement Practitioners Council of Nigeria.
That's huge.
You must be certified.
It's huge.
So I got certified. You know, I did my induction. You know, so it was gradual process. Yeah. And then eventually the first business came. Of course, you will lose.
Pitching and all.
Yeah, but I was just forming like everything was fine. Yeah, and I'm still doing that.
Please.
Yeah, so.
Okay, speaking of misconceptions and what people don't really understand, can you explain the difference between PR, public relations, and advertising? Because some people tend to think it is the same.
Okay, you know, in public relations, we talk about publics. Yeah. Now, publics are stakeholders, anyone that can affect your business, either positively or negatively. Now, that is for public relations. So as a public relations person, you need to be able to interact and deal with the publics of the organization. So we say a deliberate and a sustained effort at establishing goodwill. Yeah. So you must always establish goodwill using some form of principles. That's for public relations.
Okay.
So for advertisement, this is a bit different. This one, you are trying to show a brand, a service, deliberately. Okay. Now
it's paid for.
Yeah, that is paid for to people out there, could be an audience or.
Sure. Well, let's go on a commercial break now. When we come back, we'll still be talking about the difference between PR and advertising. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the program CEOs Connect. I still have the CEO of Rocktop Media in the studio, Mr. Tony Roland Awobade. And now we are talking about the difference between PR and advertising, because people tend to get it mixed up that it is the same. Some people think they are the same, they perform the same function. So Mr. Tony here is helping us to differentiate between PR and advertising. Mr. Tony?
Okay. So for instance, if I put something up, an ad in a newspaper, it is an ad, is an advertisement. Mm-hmm. It is paid for. You're going to see the brand there. For instance, if I say Tomisi, right there, so they're going to see it on the print. If I put the same thing as a video montage and I put it on television, people are going to see it. You know, I mean, it's paid for, so that's why it's there. So you can say anything. I'm Tomisi, I'm fine. This is my Instagram handle. You know, like that. If I also took your picture. Maybe what you're selling, maybe your jacket, your really nice blue jacket.
Thank you.
And I put it up on the billboard. That's outdoor. Yeah. Now, there's new media. A lot of people haven't gone into new media, and that's the in thing right now. So if I took it now and I took it on Instagram, or I took it on Twitter, or I took it on Facebook, and then I now use the Facebook ad, you know, paid for. I said, okay, I want 20,000 people to see it. That's advertisement. So it's different. But PR, I have to look at you and say, okay, let me go and talk to your landlord, because your landlord
have a bill.
Yes, you have a bill with your landlord. He's a stakeholder.
Yeah.
He's dealing with you. I say, okay, your school, for instance, you're going to be at work, but we need to talk to your school.
And their perception.
Yeah, to perhaps give you a free time or something. That is PR.
Yeah.
You see, it's different.
Yeah.
We need to segment the people we try to reach, you know, segment by segment. That's why it's called publics, not public.
Publics,
yes,
plural.
Yes, plural, public.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, Mr. Tony,
yes,
you are in the industry, and from what you said, you've gained a lot of experience in the media industry.
Yes,
so how would you assess the advertising business in the face of the economic situation in the country?
Okay, for the first time, well, I don't know why Is it because me I now entered when I wanted to start making money? People are now shouting different things, recessions. But you see, advertising is the first to be affected whenever there's any economic up, down. So if the economy is good, advertising
it's good.
Is first. I mean, they're the first beneficiaries. So in this case, in the last 2-3 years, advertisement was worse hit. Yes. Now, a lot of companies are also re-strategizing on how to get mileage for the little money that they have. Before, they could just splash the money out. So now they're managing. So new media is what's catching them now. A lot of people go into new media because they can see the results. They can direct it at specific targets and stuff. So, well, it's challenging, but you know how it is. It's getting better now.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Yeah. Okay, I have this question.
Go ahead.
Youth venturing into the industry. We all know advertising is all about creativity.
Yes.
Youth venturing into the industry, they often complain about having writer's block when they want to write copies, or maybe they are not creative enough. What advice do you have for youths out there when they have this kind of situation? Maybe they can't create creative copies, or they feel they are not creative enough for the advertising industry.
Everyone is creative. Everyone is creative. You know, sometimes some people will have to write 5 copies and get one approved. And some people will just spend the whole time trying to get one copy, one great copy. So it depends on what I call artistic base.
Okay.
What your talents, your innate talent, and then the talent that you develop, the skills that you develop. So for anyone going into, especially young people, be free-minded, be wide in your imagination, because it's about imagination. Think about anything out of this world. Someday someone is going to appreciate it. Someday. My own mentor, she wrote a copy, and that was what changed her life.
Wow.
Yes.
Just one
copy. And she wrote the copy as an amateur. So there's no pro, there's no amateur. It's just being consistent. Okay? So now she's big time
in the industry now.
She's big time in the industry. And as an amateur, she only wrote one copy.
Just one?
Yes. Now, that one copy, matter of fact, if there's anything like the Hall of Fame, it's in the Hall of Fame. She's not been able to do any one again.
Wow.
Yes. She's just that one. But now she's been able to do other things, work on other projects. So sometimes your copy can be the break to do other stuff. Don't forget that for me as well, I had to go into consultancy. I consulted a few times for many companies. Sometimes it's not a success story.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fail. Sometimes you need to re-satisfy your client over and over. And some clients are just not satisfied. Let me say before we roll out, do you believe that a certain client, they're not Nigerians, I went there 50 times. 50 times.
50 times?
Yes. 50 times. Honestly, 50 times. You know, at a certain time, maybe about the 40-something time, I was, something say, get up and bang the table, and I tell them this because I'm a Nigerian, get out of my country. You know, I mean, but after that meeting, they saw my frustration. I said, you know, do what you like, do what you like. And you know, today, I still work for the company 4 years after, and we make good profit together. You know, so that's how it is. So some young people will just go 3 times or 4 times
and get tired.
They get tired, and they say, no. So that's the story.
So perseverance.
Yeah, you just have to be perseverant. As I'm coming today, I've done a beautiful job for a client. I spent all night. I just went off the phone with her. She spotted an error.
Wow.
Yeah, to me, no error is perfect. But to the client, there's an error. So young people sometimes don't have this patience. So you need to be patient. Your customers are always right. Even if they're wrong, they're right. You keep fixing profit and loss. Put your loss in your profit. You know, that's how the industry is. Yeah. Okay,
back to misconception.
Okay.
I want to ask, because I've had people saying the best time to brainstorm for copy is around 3 a.m. What do you think about that?
I agree.
3
and also the best time is 3 p.m. Individual differences.
Okay.
You know why anyone would say 3 a.m.? Because there's a lot of sanity, less noise. Do you know that vibrations interfere with your brain power. It does. When you have peace and quiet, tranquility, your creative mind, your connecting nerves are more, they're faster to connect.
Active.
Yeah. Also, I work for some companies. You know what they do? We creative people, maybe a creative guy from Lagos, a creative guy from Ibadan, a creative guy from Akure, they put us together on the project and send us off to a nice hotel somewhere for 3 days. And they tell us first and second day, don't write anything. You guys just have fun. Swim, enter bush. Just have fun. Just play, have fun. Then on the third day, they expect you guys to, come up with your concept. So people that, I didn't know why they asked us to do that. I'll just call and say, do something, I'll be in my house and I'll do it. But we noticed that in those kind of environments, your creative mind becomes more active. So perhaps 3 a.m., yes.
My work for it.
Yes, it's quiet, and your brain will be sharp. Yeah. And then you don't need to take any, now this new generation, everyone wants to be they want to be science students. They want to take things to influence creativity. Yeah. I've never taken it. It's never hated my creativity in any way. So I won't encourage anyone to.
So it's just better to rely on personal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tony, for coming into the studio.
You're welcome.
It has been an interesting session because I particularly learned a lot.
Oh.
And I'm sure viewers at home did also. So we have Mr. Tony in the studio and he has shared a lot with us. Thank you, Mr. Tony.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, you're welcome. Now, viewers, don't forget to join us next time on this program, CEOs Connect. I remain Timleni Aladeshu, your host. Until next time, bye-bye. CEOs Connect.